What if I told you that everything you've been worrying about, every problem you've been obsessing over, is secretly holding you back from the life you dream of? What if the very act of looking for problems is the reason you feel stuck, frustrated, or like life is moving past you? Imagine spending years scanning for what's wrong instead of asking, what can I learn? How can I grow? Every thought you feed, every fear you replay, every setback you obsess over, it's not just a habit, it's a magnet pulling more stress, more doubt, and more obstacles into your world. But here's the truth that most people never realize: energy follows attention. The moment you shift your focus from what's broken to what can be built, from what's wrong to what's possible, your life begins to transform. Challenges stop being walls and start being stepping stones. Mistakes stop being failures and start being lessons. And the person you've always wanted to become, they're waiting on the other side of your shift in focus, on the other side of your courage to act despite fear. So the question isn't whether problems exist, they always will. The question is, where will you put your attention? Will you feed the fear or will you feed your growth? What if this single choice right now could change everything about the life you're living? What if I told you that the very thing you're focusing on right now is controlling your life more than you realize? Every thought you feed, every problem you obsess over, every fear you replay in your mind, it's not just a mental habit, it's a magnetic force that shapes your reality. Scientists, psychologists, and even the great thinkers of our time have repeatedly proven one thing: energy follows attention. What you focus on grows, and what you ignore fades away. Imagine you wake up and the first thing you do is scroll through the news, highlighting every disaster, every failure, every conflict. You might think you are just staying informed, but in reality, you are training your brain to see the world through a lens of problems and negativity. Your mind starts looking for problems, unconsciously creating stress and anxiety because energy flows exactly where your attention goes. Now imagine that instead of focusing on what's wrong, you focus on what's possible, what you can create, what solutions you can design. Suddenly, your mind becomes a powerhouse of ideas, of opportunities you never thought existed. Most people don't realize this, and that's why they feel stuck. They blame circumstances, blame people, blame life, but the truth is they are feeding the very thing they don't want. Attention is like a flashlight in a dark room. Whatever you shine it on gets illuminated. If you shine it on problems, your world becomes darker. If you shine it on growth, learning, and solutions, your world lights up with possibilities. And here's the shocking part: you can literally change your life in a week just by controlling where your attention goes. Small daily choices, what you read, who you listen to, how you spend your time, compound into massive results. It's not about avoiding problems, it's about not giving them more power than they deserve. Stop letting your mind become a stage for the things you fear and start letting it become a workshop for the life you want. What if I told you that the reason you feel stuck, frustrated, or unlucky isn't because of the world around you, but because of how you see it? Every moment you spend blaming circumstances, complaining about other people, or thinking life is unfair, you are training your mind to stay small, to stay a victim, and to give your power away. The mindset of victimhood is seductive. It whispers that life is happening to you, not for you, and it tricks you into thinking you have no control. But growth doesn't come to those who wait for the world to change. It comes to those who choose to see lessons in every struggle, opportunities in every obstacle, and possibilities where others see dead ends. Most people don't realize that the difference between someone who grows and someone who doesn't isn't talent, luck, or resources, it's perspective. When you embrace a growth mindset, every failure becomes feedback, every challenge becomes a teacher, and every rejection becomes a redirection. You stop asking why me and start asking what can I learn from this and how can I rise above it. Suddenly life stops being a battlefield of unfairness and starts being a playground of learning. Here's the shocking truth: the victim mindset is contagious. The more you indulge it, the more your brain trains itself to see problems instead of possibilities, limitations instead of solutions, excuses instead of actions. And the scary part, you don't even notice it happening. You wake up one day and realize that 5 years have passed, yet you are in the same place, still waiting for someone or something to fix your life, still giving your power to circumstances instead of claiming it yourself. Growth requires courage, the courage to stop blaming, stop complaining, and stop seeking validation outside of yourself. It requires you to face discomfort, uncertainty, and failure head on and see them not as enemies, but as stepping stones. The moment you shift from victimhood to growth, you unlock a life that was always waiting for you. A life where you are not a passenger but the driver, where problems become lessons, challenges become opportunities, and every setback becomes a setup for your next breakthrough. What if I told you that the reason most people never reach their dreams isn't because they lack talent, resources, or opportunity, but because they are trapped in a cycle of overthinking? Every time you hesitate, weigh every possibility, or wait for the perfect moment, you are surrendering your power to fear disguised as logic. This is what experts call analysis paralysis, the silent killer of ambition, the invisible chain that keeps you stuck, watching life pass by while you prepare for a moment that may never come. Imagine standing at the edge of a cliff with the ocean of opportunity below. You see the waves of possibility, but instead of jumping, you calculate wind speed, tide patterns, and potential mistakes. Meanwhile, someone else leaps, learns from the fall, adapts, and soars. The gap between those who act and those who overthink isn't luck, it's courage applied through imperfect action. The moment you act, even imperfectly, your mind shifts from fear to momentum. Movement generates clarity, action turns abstract ideas into real results, and every small step forward builds the confidence that analysis alone can never create. Most people think they are being careful when they overanalyze, but in reality, they are procrastinating disguised as prudence. They're asking, what if I fail? Instead of asking, what if I succeed? The shocking truth is that failure is not the enemy. Inaction is. Every opportunity you let pass, every risk you avoid, every moment spent waiting for certainty is a moment your growth dies, quietly, unnoticed, until one day you look back and wonder why your dreams are still out of reach. The secret is simple yet radical. Start before you feel ready. Move even when the path isn't clear, and trust that clarity comes through doing, not thinking. Action is a magnet. It attracts resources, guidance, and opportunities that analysis can never summon. Your mistakes become lessons, your struggles become fuel, and your courage multiplies with every forward step. The longer you wait, the more your fear grows, and the more the world tells you to be safe, the further you move from your purpose. What if I told you that every problem you're facing right now isn't actually a problem at all, but a message, an opportunity disguised as struggle that your future self will thank you for? Most people see challenges as walls that block their way, but the truth is, those walls are mirrors reflecting exactly where growth is waiting. Every failure, every rejection, every moment that feels unbearable contains a lesson, a hidden blueprint for your next breakthrough. Yet so many of us miss it because we are too busy complaining or wishing life was easier. Imagine someone who has everything they've ever wanted, but views obstacles as enemies versus someone who embraces every challenge as a teacher. The first lives in fear, stress, and frustration, always asking, why me? The second sees life as a classroom, always asking, what is this teaching me? The difference isn't circumstance, it's mindset. And the shocking part? Mindset alone can change everything. The same challenge that crushes one person can catapult another to greatness simply because they choose to see it differently. Think about the moments in your life that hurt the most. Maybe you lost someone, failed at a dream, or were betrayed by someone you trusted. If you only focus on the pain, it becomes a scar that weighs you down. But if you reframe it, you realize it taught you resilience, empathy, or wisdom you would never have gained otherwise. The universe doesn't give us challenges to punish us. It gives us challenges to prepare us for the life we are capable of living, to show us what we are stronger than we believe, and to reveal strengths we didn't know we had. Here's the shocking truth. The faster you learn to see problems as lessons, the faster your growth accelerates. Every time you stop seeing life as a series of attacks and start seeing it as a series of teachings, your perspective shifts, your energy transforms, and your confidence skyrockets. Challenges no longer control you, they empower you. You become the person who not only survives adversity, but thrives in it, turning every setback into a setup for your next level, and every obstacle into a stepping stone toward a life that once felt impossible. What if I told you that the problems you are obsessed with are not what's holding you back, but your focus is? Every time you dwell on what's going wrong, you are giving your mind permission to stay small, to remain in frustration, and to attract even more chaos into your life. Most people think growth comes from complaining less or waiting for circumstances to change, but the truth is, Growth comes from shifting your energy from the problem to the solution and from external blame to internal empowerment. Your life doesn't improve because the world changes. It improves because you change how you respond. Imagine a person facing the same setback as everyone else. One spends hours obsessing over what went wrong, replaying mistakes and feeling powerless. The other turns inward asking, what can I do right now to improve? Suddenly, the second person sees options that no one else notices. They focus on building skills, learning lessons, and taking small steps every day to become a better version of themselves. This is where transformation happens, not in waiting for life to get easier, but in choosing to get stronger, smarter, and more capable than the challenges in front of you. Here's the shocking reality. Solutions are always available, but they are invisible to those who are stuck in problem mode. The human mind is like a spotlight. It illuminates what you pointed at. Shine it on problems and you see walls. Shine it on solutions and you see doors, ladders, and bridges. Every time you focus on yourself, your skills, mindset, habits, and actions, you are planting seeds of unstoppable growth. The world doesn't give you what you want, it reflects what you are capable of creating. And here's the twist most people miss. Self-improvement isn't selfish, it's magnetic. The more you focus on becoming the solution in your life, the more opportunities, people, and breakthroughs naturally align with you. Complaining and problem spotting only drains energy. Action and growth multiply it. Every moment spent building yourself is a moment your problems lose power, and every choice to improve is a choice to step into the life you've always imagined but never thought was possible. What if I told you that the very act of looking for problems is quietly sabotaging your life? Every time you scan your relationships, work, or even your own thoughts for what's wrong, you are training your brain to see life as a series of obstacles rather than opportunities. The truth is, the human mind is wired to notice patterns, but when you habitually hunt for problems, you create self-fulfilling prophecy. The more you look for trouble, the more trouble you see, the more your energy gets stuck in negativity, and the less room you leave for growth, creativity, and joy. Imagine someone who wakes up each day scanning for what could go wrong. Every email, every conversation, every decision becomes a potential disaster waiting to happen. Their mind is a magnifying glass on problems, and slowly, unknowingly, they become a magnet for stress, fear, and frustration. Meanwhile, someone else faces the exact same circumstances but chooses to focus on solutions, opportunities, and what can be learned. Their life unfolds differently, almost magically, because energy follows attention, and attention determines experience. Here's the shocking part. The problem-seeking trap is invisible. Most people don't even realize they are addicted to finding flaws, creating drama, or over-analyzing setbacks. It feels normal to complain, to anticipate failure, to dwell on mistakes, but that habitual focus literally rewires your brain to see the world through scarcity and limitation. The longer you stay in this trap, the more trapped you feel, and the more impossible life seems to grow. Breaking free requires a radical shift. Stop feeding problems with your attention and start feeding solutions and growth. Every time you catch yourself complaining or overthinking, pause and ask, what can I do to move forward? What can I learn here? This simple act flips the switch from victimhood to empowerment. Life doesn't reward those who hunt problems. It rewards those who hunt possibilities. The moment you stop looking for what's wrong and start looking for what's possible, you release energy, attract opportunities, and finally step into a life where challenges become stepping stones rather than stumbling blocks. So let this be your reminder. Growth doesn't come from chasing problems or waiting for life to be perfect. Growth comes when you choose where to place your attention, when you embrace challenges as teachers, when you act even when it's uncomfortable, and when you focus on becoming the best version of yourself. Every problem you once feared can become a stepping stone, every failure a lesson, and every obstacle an opportunity to rise higher than you ever imagined. As you leave here today, remember that the power to transform your life has always been inside you. Choose growth over fear, action over hesitation, and possibilities over problems. Your journey is yours to shape, and every step forward is proof that you are capable of more than you've ever allowed yourself to believe. Good luck on this journey of growth. Trust yourself, stay committed, and embrace the lessons along the way. Thank you for opening your mind, your heart, and your attention to this message. Your future self will thank you for it.